Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Virtual Nunchucks. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here today. I hope you're having a great day. Hope that everybody's been paying attention to E3 and all the information that's been coming out. I will be putting out some material about E3 and different things once I get everything situated here. Sorry I didn't put anything on the channel yesterday because, well, Virtual Mom was homesick. So we kind of sort of just laid around and were lazy and sat around and did family stuff since she was homesick yesterday. So anyhow, today what I thought I'd do is I want to talk to you guys about the pros and cons of using either modded controllers or modded things.
Or a script.
Well, a script.
Like a Cronus Max or something.
I guess so. But here's my thing. All right. I have been my entire life been against. Even though I'm a disabled person, I want to put that out there in case you guys don't know. If you're new around here, I'm a disabled gamer. I have cerebral palsy, my reflexes, my eye and hand coordination, bunch of stuff affected by my physical limitations. Okay. But I have always been against people taking advantage of their disability and things like that. However, I am now 40 years old. I have been gaming most of my life, and I've noticed that gaming is becoming more and more difficult for me, and that's kind of sad because it's something that my son and I do together. So, you know, it's becoming more and more difficult. I've had to buy fight sticks to play fighting games because my hands hurt so bad using a controller. When I play things like Call of Duty, my son kicks my butt because my reflexes and my eye and hand coordination are not nearly as good, and in fact causes me quite a bit of angst, I guess you could say. Because of that. So I came across some information. Everybody's been saying, well, you need to get a SCUF, you need to get a evil controller, you need to get one of those a battle beast or something. So I've been looking into those kind of things. I've been looking into the modded controllers. In case you don't know, I don't know why you wouldn't, but in case you don't know, a SCUF, you can basically have it customized to the point where you have paddles on the back that you can map to any face button on the controller that you want. For jumping, for whatever, okay, in the game, and you can map it however you want, and it's supposed to help you because you can keep your hands on the thumbsticks if you're aiming in first-person shooters or whatever, and you don't have to move. Well, that's fine and dandy, except one thing: my fine motor skills are affected by my disability as well, which means small things. Little intricate things are hard for me to do with my hands. Sometimes even unscrewing a bottle top or dealing with screwdrivers. I don't even want to talk about screwdrivers. Screwdrivers are hard. So, hang on a second. Anyway, sorry. Allergies are terrible. So, I want to try those things, but they're $200, sometimes $300. I looked at an evil controller where you can even have them replace the default buttons with better actuating servos so that when you barely touch a button, it does what it's supposed to do. You can do that same thing with a D-pad with evil controllers. You can barely touch the D-pad, and it actually makes makes it easier for combos and things like that. And you can even change the R3 and L3 buttons on your PS4 controller to make them more sensitive and have buttons or levers or paddles on the back as well. So I've been looking at all those things, and an Evo controller is the way I needed it, okay? The way I would need it for my problems. You're looking at, I think it was $340. That's a lot of money just to be able to play a game. So I got to looking at other things.
4K gaming laptop is only like $400 one.
I got to looking at other things, and I came across things like the Titan and the Titan 2 and the Cronus Max Plus. And what it is a basically even the Major League Gaming, MLG, will allow them to bring it in. But what it is it's a Bluetooth input, I guess you could say. It's like a USB drive. You program it on your PC, you put it in your PS4, and you are supposed to have basically like it's basically like a wired controller. It's supposed to take all the lag away. It's supposed to take the Bluetooth interference away, so that when you press a button or everything, the lag is just not there. But also, what I didn't realize until I started contacting these different companies to try to find something that will work for me, a rep for Cronus Max got in touch with me and said, hey, look, you need to look at our disabled gamer community on Cronus Max website. And he gave me a link, and so I followed that link and I began to read the posts. The Cronus Max is not only a Bluetooth input, but the Cronus Max also has the ability to write scripts. So you can write a script that allows you to have a single button press for, let's just say, multiple button inputs. For example, if you want to play a fighting game and you're an amputee and you can only play one-handed, and I know this because I read it, there is a forum dedicated to disabled gamers, and a disabled gamer got on the forum and said, look, I'm having trouble. I'm an amputee. I love fighting games, but I have trouble using controllers because obviously I can only use one hand. I need help. So the company said, well, what do you need? And he said, it would be easier if I could use combos, maybe a 1 or 2 button press, so that I can do a combo and everything on my controller. And so the company said, okay, we'll give us a couple of days, describe everything you need. So he did in the forum. He described everything that he would need to be able to do with the one hand. So they came back a little bit later and said, you can find this script. However, they got in contact with him. They wrote a script for him for his Cronus Max. And he is now able to use one hand and do multiple do combos just like everybody else who doesn't have that problem, and fight in public matches. Doesn't mean he wins all the time, but he's able to do combos, and he's able to do different moves that he otherwise wouldn't be able to do because he only has the one hand. There was another gentleman who said that his brother was autistic, but he loved the NBA 2K series, but he couldn't compete online, or he couldn't play online, and that's the only thing that he really fixates on is the NBA 2K series and basketball. And he wanted to be able to let his brother play online, so they wrote a script so that he can compete at a semi-capable level, even though his mental facilities are not there to do that. He can compete at a reasonable level for him online and enjoy the game without getting frustrated and not being able to do something that he enjoys. So I got to looking at that, but then I got to looking at the flip side of that argument. The flip side of that argument is people use mods, for example, in Black Ops 4, where they have jitter mods. You can do anti-recoil mods. You can do auto-aim, which I am completely against auto-aim and jitter mods, okay? I am completely against that. But the idea is sound. They're not legal in tournament play. If you play like that in tournaments, they if you have any kind of modded controller to the point where you can do certain things or have auto aim bot, obviously it's not allowed in tournaments if you're a professional player. If you do that, you get banned. But I've seen a lot of people complain that, hey, this guy was totally awesome and somehow he beat me, even though he shouldn't have been able to, and it's just It's crazy. Well, yeah, okay. Maybe you shouldn't use a jitter mod on your SG-12, okay? Because there's no way that you can press a button that fast to
Also, that gun can't physically fire that fast. I tested it.
I mean, if you had the greatest trigger finger in the world, there's just no way it should be able to fire that fast. Okay? So yes, that's cheating. That should not be allowed. But for people like me, for example, or the gentleman who plays with one hand that I read about, if I have a button press that allows me, or even two button presses, that allows me to auto aim in, and let's say I'm using sniping rifles. If I have a button press that allows me to auto aim in, hold my breath at the same time, which is again another press, because if you're familiar with Call of Duty or Destiny or anything like that, I don't know if Destiny requires you to hold your breath, but Call of Duty does. You have to press.
No, Destiny doesn't require you to
Okay,
hold your breath.
according to my son, it doesn't require you to hold your breath in Destiny 2. So, but either way, Call of Duty does. So, a normal button press to hold your breath, to aim in with a sniping rifle. Aim in is L2. Holding your breath is R3. You have to press that down. And then, of course, you still have to aim, which is moving your left stick. Okay? And then...
Not left stick, right stick. So you're holding down R3.
Yeah, you're holding down R3, you're moving R3, you're moving side to side or something with your left stick for movement. And you also have to hit R3 or R2 rather, to fire the gun. So that's difficult for someone like me. Even with an assault rifle with the aim assist that Call of Duty requires, or that puts in the game for that kind of stuff, because aiming is hard on console anyway. That is really hard for me. I am not able to do that. So I completely stay away from sniping rifles unless I'm just don't care about my KD that day, and I don't care, and I just want to see if I can do it. Alright? And just to be clear, I do not have a Cronus Max in my house. I do not have any kind of software that would do this for me. But there is a script that the company wrote for the ability to press two buttons, and it quick scopes for you and fires the gun. Now, you still have to aim it. You still have to line up your shot obviously correctly, and you still have to make sure that you can beat the guy, but it does allow you to push one button. It automatically aims in, holds the breath, and fires the gun. So I am intrigued, and for the gaming community as a whole, especially the disabled community, I find myself on the fence about this, because number one, I don't like cheaters. I don't like people who take unfair advantages like auto aim, aimbot, to the point where if you see any YouTube video about PC hackers and stuff, where you can auto aim in and the guy's halfway across the map on the blackout thing on top of a roof, but you can still see him through a tree and shoot him through a tree. That's wrong. That's evil. And that should not be allowed. Jitter mods should not be allowed in the game. But stuff like that allows an amputee to play, that allows people with autism to enjoy a game that they like, make some shots, compete online. They may not even win, to be honest with you, but at least they'll make it a game. And the ability for someone who maybe has a little bit of trouble with their hands to be able to press one button, to be able to hold their breath, make a shot, as long as they aim correctly, that is pretty cool. That is pretty awesome. So I'm on the fence about this whole Cronus Max thing and allowing mods in games and stuff like that. And I can kind of understand why the game developers are, because they're trying to be inclusive. They're trying to include disabled gamers. They're trying to find a way to help disabled gamers enjoy games. That's why there's accessibility features to a point in Call of Duty. There's accessibility features in Assassin's Creed. They're starting to do more and more stuff, and I was trying to find some accessibility features here. Like auto sprint, for example. that allows me to push one button and my guy runs until I make him stop. So that helps me. I use it all the time. Obviously, I turn aim assist on because, like we said already, aiming on console is really, really hard. There's colorblind filters. There's all kinds of stuff. And other games have different filters for different things. So the publishers and the developers are on the fence about this somewhat because, yes, they have to kind of sort of put it in the game to allow people to have access to it, but the controls are still difficult for some people. So you can spend hundreds of dollars on a modded controller, or maybe you can spend a little less than $100 or even $40 in some things, turn on a couple of things that the game will allow you to do, or the software with the thing that you bought will allow you to do, and be able to compete. So I'm looking for people's opinion on this. That's my 2 cents. Do I think it should be allowed to allow disabled gamers to play and enjoy it? Yes. Do I think it should be allowed in competitions? No. But do I also think that it does create somewhat of an unfair advantage to be able to program your software to whatever you want it to be, so that you have some kind of unfair advantage over someone else? No.
Jittermod times 10.
Yeah, jitter mods are ridiculous. And auto aim is ridiculous to the point where, you know, it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm looking for your opinion. Give me a comment what you think about the Cronus Max Plus or the Titan 2 or Scuffs or whatever. Because I really am looking into this kind of stuff, because the older I get, the harder it is for me to do certain things. So I'm kind of looking into it. I'm reaching out to the different companies to see what information they can give me. And of course they're going to have a little slant to it themselves because they're trying to sell a product, and I understand that. But I'm looking for you guys' opinion on things. Also, I want to put out there real quick, I will be putting E3 information up on the channel this week. Once I get a chance to go through it all, and I'll basically be hitting the highlights for each press conference, like Ubisoft and Microsoft and, you know, things like that. I'll be hitting the highlights and the big information and putting it all on the channel this week. So that's going to be my week this week on YouTube. But please, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole modded controller business and all that stuff. Let me know what you think. Leave me a like if you're new, and of course it shows your support, and I always try to answer the comments. You can follow me on Twitter, @VNunchucks is my handle, and of course Facebook.com/virtualnunchucks, and on Twitch, twitch.tv where Virtual Nunchucks, where later today around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time I'll be playing some Sonic Mania. Okay, so if you want to be seeing that around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, come hang out with us today. And I'll be playing some Sonic Mania on Twitch for about 2 hours. So, hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you real soon. All right?